Marchini sang to his neighbors in Florence, the famous aria Nessun Dorma from Puccini's Turandot. And in a rather remarkable performance, set to the same song in a recording by the late great Luciano Pavarotti, the Italian Air Force used colored smoke to paint Italy's flag in the sky. All around the country, there were impromptu moments of song and pleasure. In Spain, also hard hit by the virus, music helped residents of an apartment house join together for some exercise, even as they maintained their social distancing. Back in this country, there was this.
Third time today.
Police Association
Third time today.
She pooped again?
Again.
Oh my goodness.
Instead, they went to a local Walmart. A moment of relief for all of us, even staring at empty shelves of toilet paper. For the PBS NewsHour, I'm Jeffrey Brown.
Boy, did we sure need that. Thank you, Jeff.
And
that is the NewsHour for tonight. I'm Judy Woodruff. Join us online and again right here tomorrow evening for all of us at the PBS NewsHour. Thank you. Stay healthy, and we'll see you soon.
Major funding for the PBS NewsHour has been provided by...
On an American Cruise Line's journey along the Mississippi River, travelers explore classic antebellum homes, Civil War battlefields, and historic American towns. Aboard our fleet of Victorian-style paddle wheelers and modern riverboats, you can experience local culture and cuisine and relive American history. American Cruise Lines, proud sponsor of PBS NewsHour.
Fidelity Investments. BNSF Railway. Consumer Cellular.
And by the Alfred P. Sloan Foundation, supporting science, technology, and improved economic performance and financial literacy in the 21st century.
Supported by the John D. and Catherine T. MacArthur Foundation, committed to building a more just, verdant, and peaceful world. More information at macfound.org.
You know, since you were making noise, I told you to go upstairs too, Carly. If you can be quiet, not this time, but if you can be quiet, you can be down here. When I'm watching something, I don't want all that chatter and stuff that y'all do. No, I mean, go ahead on upstairs for a bit. You and Malia.
There is no parallel for this election in 2020.
The entire point is to get past the headlines, to get past the name calling.
We can go deeper into topics. Everything isn't necessarily red or blue.
We need to understand what's going on. We need to go behind the story and under the story.
Not just to find out what happened, but why it matters.
2020 will be a political roller coaster, but viewers can count on PBS to be there every step of the way.
Live in concert, recorded in Melbourne, Australia during their 1989 One for All tour.
And it's me you need to show. How deep is your love? Is your love? How deep is your love?
Travel back in time to the supergroup's greatest hits.
Be sure to join us tonight at 8.
Join us for 50 years with Peter, Paul, and Mary. It's an anniversary special featuring America's favorite folk group. Singing the songs that changed history and became the soundtrack of our lives. 50 years with Peter, Paul, and Mary. Join us Saturday afternoon at 5.
Great art is pretty cool. It makes me smile and dream. Art makes me feel good. Other times, it makes me wonder. Art makes me want to make art. I like it when it makes me think about things in a whole new way. That's why I love The Butler, America's Museum of American Art. Experience The Butler and discover what great art can do for you.
Christopher Cross, the 40th Anniversary Tour, April 16th at the Robbins Theater in Warren. Tickets available at robbinstheater.com. Celtic Woman, the best of. Celebrating 15 years of making music. A PBS television special. Bringing you their favorite songs. Celtic Woman, the best of.
Be sure to watch Saturday afternoon at 2.
Can you all live the ultimate retirement? You can.
Acclaimed personal finance expert Susie Orman provides essential advice to make your retirement more successful and secure.
It's never too soon to begin.
Join us Thursday night at 10.
Local funding for this show is provided by members of Western Reserve PBS and the following program sponsors.
I am the Performing Arts Center.
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 At the Performing Arts Center, we're more than just a building. We're a community.
Volume 64.
The arts, where people can share an experience that connects us. Whether it's a national Broadway tour, a concert, or a family show, we'd like to invite you to join us for a live experience here at the Performing Arts Center at Kent State University at Tuscarawas. We'll save you a seat.
Explore new worlds and new ideas through programs like this. Made available for everyone through contributions to your PBS station from viewers like you. Thank you.
Oh, man. Oh.
A ticking time bomb that explodes with indescribable energy.
The last minutes of a giant star's life are the most cataclysmic events that we see in the universe.
I know that sound from somewhere. I know them sounds from somewhere.
What sound?
That's that creaking sound.
That's this chair.
I know.
No, I already did a fortune cookie once. I really done a fortune cookie.
Guy.
Stash of the ship! Some sort of vortex guy. It's dragging us 1,600 feet till impact.
This is the sound that you're making.
How many days y'all staying? Sound like you got a cold. Where you get that?
I don't know.
Huh?
I just been sneezing a lot.
Y'all be coughing?
Look.
Huh?
No. I think I got it when I came here. Maybe.
Goes for her appointment. They're gonna be questioning her, looking at her.
You. Doesn't it sound just like that chair?
I don't hear it. Okay. Okay. Exit.
Stretch to the orbit of Jupiter.
Guy.
This is one of the biggest beasts in the galaxy. It's a star also that is on the verge of death.
Betelgeuse is less than 10 million years old.
That's it.
But this huge star's days are numbered. It's ready to blow. And when it does, we'll see a region of sky.
One of the most spectacular shows in history. And it could happen at any moment. I mean, this is the thing. I often stand outside in my yard in the wintertime. I look up at Orion and I see Betelgeuse. And I'm like, explode!
So, what will make Betelgeuse go supernova?
Volume 65. Volume 68.
Understand its life. From the day it's born until the day it dies, a star's life is a constant battle. Gravity is pulling in and energy pushing out.
The interior of the star is fusing countless atomic nuclei together.
Atoms are ramming into each other, getting very, very close. If they get close enough, they'll actually stick and form a larger atom.
Every second, the giant star fuses 7.5 billion tons of hydrogen.
That amount of energy is roughly equivalent to about 100 billion atomic bombs per second.
That's a big-ass explosion. This explosive energy threatens to blow the star apart. But the star's own massive gravity keeps the lid on.
Everything in the universe is a fight between the inward force of gravity and the outward force of pressure or energy.
Every single star in the sky, even our own sun, is an incredibly dynamic battleground. In many ways, stars are an explosion that are actually too big to explode. Gravity holds it together.
This battle between these two opposing forces determines the life and death of the star. And this is where size matters. The more massive the star, the more gravity pushes inward. The harder the star has to push outward to keep itself alive.
Very massive stars are like stars on steroids. They have a lot of fuel to burn. They're so powerful that they use up their fuel at a rapid rate.
Massive stars, like Betelgeuse, are giant factories fusing lighter elements into heavier ones. But the hard work doesn't start until their final years. For around 90% of their life, they fuse hydrogen into helium. But eventually, the hydrogen starts running out.
In the core of a supergiant star, there's a sequence of fusion that goes from lighter elements to heavier elements, and it gets faster and faster every step of the way.
The countdown to death begins. The inward push from gravity takes over, raising the temperature in the core. Helium starts fusing into carbon. There's enough helium to last about 1 million years, but it too runs out. Things start speeding up.
Carbon gets fused into neon. That takes about 1,000 years. Neon fusing into silicon, that takes about 1 year. Once it starts fusing silicon into iron, that takes 1 day. It gets more and more frantic. It's kind of like a cooking contest show, whereas the clock is running down. They're trying to do more and more things, and they get more and more frantic until, ding, time's up.
The star is now in its death throes.
Once iron production has started, the clock is ticking towards the cataclysmic end of this star.
A giant ball of incredibly dense iron forms in the middle of the dying star's core. This iron sphere is several thousand miles across and unbelievably hot.
It gets so hot there the temperature almost becomes meaningless. I mean, we're talking about 1 billion degrees in the center of one of these stars.
This extreme heat is caused by fusion reactions. More and more reactions create heavier and heavier elements, and with each step, less and less energy is produced until iron is created.
When you try to fuse iron nuclei together, that takes energy. It doesn't generate energy. So once the core starts to fuse iron, it's basically stealing its own energy.
The growing iron core sucks more and more energy from the star. Gravity continues pulling in, overwhelming the outward pressure from inside the star.
Everything gets crushed to unimaginable degrees. All of a sudden, there's no nuclear reaction to support the star against the crush of gravity.
With nothing left holding it up, the star is doomed. Gravity wins. The edges of the iron core collapse. Trillions of tons of dense iron fall inward at a quarter of the speed of light. The star has now less than 1 second left to live. Things start to fall apart really quickly.
The core collapse is so fast that the outer layers of the star don't even have time to react. They're just hanging there. It's kind of like Wile E. Coyote when a cliff collapses underneath him and he doesn't even fall until he notices.
The rest of the star collapses. A trillion tons of gas hurtle inwards, following the iron.
Think about the entire mass of a star that has been held up by nuclear reactions inside. All of a sudden, those nuclear reactions go away in a split second. Everything rushes into the middle. And that sets off the most dramatic explosion in the universe.
The spectacular death blow can outshine all of the stars in the galaxy. But there's a problem. We still don't fully understand how a collapsing ball of iron and tons of falling gas create a giant fireball.
How this collapsing core triggers a massive explosion is one of the biggest mysteries in astrophysics.
We're on a mission to rescue some of the most significant cars on the planet.
Why do we do this? Because nobody else would.
Driven. All new series premieres Monday, March 30th on Discovery.
Hey, King Midas. People should know we can service their whole car.
Yes. Tires, brakes, oil, everything. Everything. We must tell the people.
Now get an oil change, tire rotation, brake check, and more with our maintenance package, just $29.99.
For every staircase supporting a grand entrance, door frames marking milestones, floors kissed by bare feet, and walls making room for new memories. Protect the pure joy of home with Terminix. We're committed to keeping termites out of your home with our all-new On Guard termite protection system. Always backed by the Terminix promise to keep your home strong enough for all the love it holds.
Every time it's been way too long. A Corona gets its line. Every time you're not related, but you're definitely family. Every time you meet from across the party. Every time all of us is all we need. And every time your favorite place is more about who than where. A Corona gets its line.
Brought to you in part by USAA, proudly serving the military community. What you're made of, we're made for.
We made USAA insurance for members like Kate, a former Army medic made of the flexibility to handle whatever Monday has in store and tackle 4 things at once. So when her car got hit, she didn't worry. She simply filed a claim on her USAA app and said,
I've got this.
USAA insurance is made the way Kate needs it. Easy. She can even pick her payment plan, so it's easy on her budget and her life. USAA. What you're made of, we're made for.
It all starts with an invitation. To feel exhilaration. The invitation to Lexus sales event now through March 31st.
Get 0.9% APR for 60 months on all 2020 models.
Experience amazing at your Lexus dealer.
Is skincare from around the world better than Olay? To find out, Olay faced the world. We tested our vitamin B3 formula and beat Japan's top moisturizers. And even the $400 French tea. Olay Regenerist faced 131 premium products from 12 countries over 10 years. Olay's hydration was unbeaten every time. Olay, face anything. Want a lightest air feel? Try Olay Whips.
Make your yard the envy of the block this spring at Lowe's with savings on Craftsman, Scotts, and Honda, so you stay ahead of the pack. Get the Miracle Pro All-Purpose Garden Soil for $4.28 every day. Do it right for less. Start with Lowe's.
Nature has created the best water in history. From a time before we started recording it. Bottled at the source, untouched by man. It's Earth's finest water.
From the stories you love to watch, to the things you love to do. Find what you're looking for on the networks of Discovery.
It's a killer car. I just gotta deal with the rust. This gas lucky style.
A supernova, one of the most powerful eruptions in the cosmos, triggered by the collapse of a massive star.
How do you go from a violent collapse to an incredibly dramatic explosion?
This involves some of the most complex astrophysics known to humanity, and we don't fully understand the details of the process.
We're missing something because we nearly always spot supernovas too late.
What you're seeing a star brightening, and that's really happening after the fact.
So now the magic key is not finding a supernova, but finding the moment that we call the breakout.
The breakout is a giant star's death rattle. It's the moment after the core has collapsed, when the star blows apart in a huge flash of visible light. But in the entire history of astronomy, this moment has only been caught twice. Once by NASA's multi-million-dollar space telescope, Kepler, and once by a very lucky Argentinian amateur.
I love this story. There's an amateur astronomer named Victor Busso. He has a very nice telescope in an observatory in his yard.
And he was taking photographs repeatedly of the same galaxy that happened to be overhead.
And he just happened to be looking at the right region of the sky, and he luckily caught the shock breakout of a supernova.
The chances of catching this moment? 1 in 10 million.
What Victor caught was the moment the shockwave reaches the surface.
Victor noticed this spot appearing in his photographs. Realizing he'd captured the first flash of light from an exploding star, he alerted professional astronomers across the globe.
When I heard of his discovery, I was like, no way. How could this guy, using a camera on his telescope for the very first time, pointing at a single random galaxy in the sky, have found this exploding star in the first hour of its explosion? It's almost too good to be true.
Alex Filippenko and his team monitored the brightening light from the star.
What we found when studying the light from Busso's supernova is that the object brightened very quickly for a short time when a shock wave, a supersonic wave going through the star, burst out through the surface.
And when it gets right to the edge, that huge amount of energy is released as a tremendous flash. That is the moment of shock breakout.
What the?
The monstrous shockwave travels at nearly 30,000 miles per hour, bursting through the surface of the star, ripping it to pieces.
Fire!
see shock waves from explosions on Earth. They can travel through gas, liquid, and solid, including the layers of a collapsing star.
This observation of the shockwave reaching the surface of the star is incredibly important because Victor managed to hit the star the moment it actually went supernova. That is something that is a scientific treasure.
The shock breakout is like cosmic gold dust, a flash in the pan that lasts 20 minutes. Just a blink of the eye on astronomical timescales. But what sets the shockwave off? Is it just a question of bounce? A supernova shockwave can be explained with the help of a basketball.
The thing about an exploding star is that the nuclear reactions go out in the core, and then the outer layers fall in at incredibly high speeds toward the inner core, and then it rebounds and bounces out. And what gives it so much energy is the structure of the star.
As the dying star burns through its fuel, it creates layers of different elements.
I don't get it.
And the
How can
iron
a
at the core,
star explode?
layers and layers of lighter elements above.
Just like how millions of 50 trillion cells die in your body every day.
What is cells?
But let's say it's organized
This.
like a star, where the
This.
heavy thing is at the bottom, the lighter thing is at the
My
top.
cheek?
And let's see how this
Everywhere.
rebound goes.
All of your skin. Your inside.
Now that was a rebound.
The tennis ball launches off the basketball because energy from the basketball's bounce is transferred upwards. The same thing happens in a collapsing star, but with many more layers. All the different elements collapse inwards. The heavier layers hit the dense core first, passing energy to the lighter ones. And this creates the shock wave. But this energy isn't enough to propel the shock wave all the way out of the star.
How do you kids
The problem
can
is
jump
when we
that
looked
high?
at this in detail using
Boom,
computer
my
models,
robot.
it didn't work.
The shockwave seemed to stall. We couldn't get the star to explode. For 50 years, we couldn't figure out what we were missing.
Scientists suspect something else is involved, something that's almost impossible to detect. Could there be a ghost in the supernova?
It's a brand new morning for breakfast with the Jimmy Dean Delights breadless egg which. We got rid of the bread and replaced it with 2 egg frittatas. For a protein pack, start to your day.
And that is something else. Kind of makes you hungry, huh?
No, don't. Go down. No.
Grandpa, who are you talking to?
I guess he was humming. It sounded like he said something too.
So he just said, nope, don't cut it.
Like,
The ancient Greeks had
dumb, no.
the most admirable
Say
thing
nope,
is called
nope.
She
nope,
bop,
nope.
boo, bop, bop.
love.
Oh my goodness.
For 175 years, New York Life has been helping people act on their love.
Yes.
So they can look back or look ahead and say, we got it right.
I saw Kyrie one.
As a struggling actor,